Welcome. My name is Fizek Pez and this is the news from the parallel universe. A universe where, unlike in yours, justice is always served and bad deeds always get punished. We have some breaking news for you today. In an unprecedented turn of events, Anton Faust, the head of the National Agency for Infectious Diseases, has been arrested and charged with the unintentional mass murder of millions of people worldwide. As the head of NAID, Faust approved multiple grants to EcoHealth Alliance, a research firm led by Dr. Pezek, to perform dangerous and illegal gain-of-function research at a military-controlled Chinese bio-lab in Wuhan. Faust supported this research despite, and in violation of, an international moratorium against gain-of-function research signed by President Obama in 2014. The research involved enhancing a SARS-like coronavirus by inserting a furin cleavage site into the spike protein, making it easier for the virus to spread from human to human. Dr. Redfield, a virologist, and former head of the CDC, argued that a naturally occurring virus of zoonotic origin would not be able to spread efficiently among humans. However, SARS-CoV-2 was able to do so, indicating genetic engineering. The gain-of-function research led to the largest pandemic since the 1917 Spanish flu, causing the deaths of millions of people and an unprecedented destruction of the world economy. Instead of admitting his involvement in a gain-of-function research, and apologizing, resigning, and doing what a man of honor would do in this situation, Faust promoted a mass vaccination program that he believed would stop the virus. As an immunologist, Faust should have known that vaccinating during, rather than before, a pandemic, is ineffective at best, and disastrous at worst, since it puts evolutionary pressure on the virus to evolve and evade vaccine-induced immunity.
Over the next years, Faust's support allowed Big Pharma to make billions of dollars on vaccines, which CDC to this day calls safe and effective, against all scientific findings. In reality, the vaccination program did not stop the spread of the virus, nor did it prevent the infection. Nearly all vaccinated people eventually contracted COVID. Scientists still debated whether the vaccination had a positive overall effect at all. While it is estimated that mass vaccination did save 1 in 700 people, we know it also harmed 1 in 7 people. Negative vaccine side effects include myocarditis, inflammation of the heart muscle, thrombosis, blood clots that lead to stroke, and sudden cardiac arrests, a heart attack with a 50% survival rate. According to the research presented by Dr. Mueller at the European Society of Cardiology conference, at least 1 in 7 people suffered from subclinical myocarditis after vaccination. Many studies have also shown that while older and at-risk populations may have benefited from the vaccines, many young people, especially children, were seriously and unnecessarily harmed, even though they were not at a risk from the SARS-CoV-2 infection in the first place. Faust's actions also led to an unprecedented distrust in public health, causing many parents to hesitate whether to vaccinate their children against polio or measles, even though polio and measles vaccines, unlike the COVID vaccine, are truly safe and effective. To make matter worse, since the start of the vaccine intervention program, we observe a 20% spike in excess mortality across all ages, including young people and children. At this point, the reason for the death spike remains unknown, but we already know that it is unrelated to the COVID-19 infection itself.
As if that was not enough, Faust supported lockdowns of businesses and schools disproportionately affected underserved communities and minority populations. For example, Stanford research estimate that the school lockdown shortened every black child's life expectancy by 5 years. While the laptop class enjoyed working from the comfort of their homes, working-class people lost their jobs. The fastest and largest transfer of wealth from the poor to the rich was thus facilitated. When faced with criticism from distinguished professors of Oxford, Harvard, and Stanford, who published their focused protection approach in the Great Barrington Declaration, Dr. Faust and his colleague Dr. Caligari, the head of NIH, called for a, quoting, swift and devastating takedown of these fringe epidemiologists. As revealed in the so-called Twitter files, the call led to an unprecedented government-sponsored censorship campaign in social media. The Twitter account of Stanford professor Janta Bhattacharya has been shadow banned. Millions of tweets were deleted, and thousands of accounts were suspended at the request of FBI and other government agencies. Reports by real people describing serious side effects of the COVID vaccine were deemed misinformation, even though the censors themselves agreed that they were true accounts. Questioning false government narratives about the pandemic became a crime punishable by loss of job and fear of persecution, and was always accompanied by shaming and accusations of supporting conspiracy theory, even when supported by a Nobel Prize winner or prestigious medical journal findings. The freedom of speech, guaranteed by the United States Constitution, has never before been so arrogantly violated by the federal government.
As it turned out, the so-called fringe epidemiologists were right, while Dr. Anton Fauci was wrong. But the damage caused by Dr. Fauci and his cronies will be with us for decades. What gives us some consolation is that in our parallel universe, unlike in yours, justice is always served, and Anton Fauci will spend the rest of his life in jail, soon to be joined by the director of CDC Dr. Mice Valiumsky and those members of the Federal Drug Administration who voted for the approval of a vaccine booster based on the clinical trial involving 8 mice and not a single human. This was today's news from the parallel universe. Thank you for watching. My name is Rose Trotsky.
And I am Fizek PS. Good night and good luck.
Dear YouTube censors, please do not forget to label our video as misinformation. We count on your Orwellian diligence, especially on April Fool's Day. And do not forget to demonetize us. It is always an honor to be recognized. It helps our visibility. Thank you in advance. And go to bloody hell. And you, our dear viewers, please consider switching to Rumble, or, if you can't, press that subscribe button and donate whatever you can to our Patreonite. You will find the link in the description.